It's lovely. Great. Let's get started with some chat, some chitter chat to warm us all up. Some of us love it and need it. Some of us find it a bit of a distraction, but it's a good thing to do. So, what are you excited about at the moment? Or what are you celebrating, big or small? Mine is discovering a bagel shop in Cheltenham because I've been watching a show and they're always eating bagels on this show. It's on Netflix. It's a really fun one called Nobody Wants This about a Jewish rabbi falling in love with someone who's not Jewish and how they kind of go through their relationship. And they're always eating bagels. So I decided to stop by at this shop in Cheltenham to buy some bagels with sesame seeds, and they were absolutely delicious. So I'm now obsessed with having bagels all the time.
But what did you have in it? What was in it?
Well, very good. So I had they were £10 each. So I only ordered
House
one
for
from the
her.
shop. I know.
Is it
And it
Steamhouse Bakery?
no, yes,
That's
Steamhouse Bakery.
outrageous.
Yeah.
Good.
And it was cream cheese and it had like herbs and gherkins in it with smoked salmon, 10 quid. But then
Wow.
you could buy the separate bagels that were like beautifully baked for £1.10 each. So then I bought a few extra bagels, picked up some cream cheese, prosciutto, tomatoes, basil from the shop. I've been enjoying the rest of them to myself at much less cost. Yeah, that was my little celebration. So that's an example of how silly it can be. Who else would like to share a celebration, something you're excited about or celebrating, big or small? Chime in.
I don't know.
Well, I had a very fun Saturday, so I decided to take myself off for a bit of a Kate recharge day of doing all the things that I like.
Yes.
And it was very fun. So yeah, I went to the cathedral, so had a nice sort of bit of time in prayer. Had lots of coffee shop visits, wandered around the art gallery, and just lots of nice sort of random chats with the cafe staff, and one lady gave me extra marshmallows, so absolutely
Oh,
in my hot chocolate.
I love it. That's so nice. So literally you made a list of all the things you love doing and then you did
Yeah.
them. Such a good idea. I used to have that in the back of my journal until I learnt the list off by heart. So I really recommend you start to keep that log. Hannah, you're nodding. What's something you've enjoyed or you're excited about or you can celebrate you've done for yourself lately? Or for someone else, if that energizes you.
Energizing was actually spending time with the family at the weekend. So it was my sister's birthday during the week, but we celebrated Saturday night. And we actually all came together and did a murder mystery. And that was actually a lot of fun. A lot of us were like, oh, I don't know how that's going to be. But actually, when we all got stuck in, it was great. So it's just celebrating the time with family, and all enjoying that experience. So yeah, no, it was fun.
That is such a celebration that you had time with your family and it was enjoyable because that's not always the case, but well done for giving it a try. Anything else? Anything exciting or fun celebrations?
Yeah, my daughter-in-law sent me pictures of possible wedding dresses.
Ooh,
So I'm quite chuffed that she's
nice.
sent them to me and not to what we call the bride chat, 'cause there's a bride chat with the bridesmaids in and her mum and me. But she sent them to me. She says, "Oh, what do you think of these?" And I feel quite chuffed that she sent them to me and she's involved me. So
Hooray! You're such a lovely mother-in-law. She's so blessed to have you. That is gorgeous. I love it. What else? Anything else, big or small? What are you celebrating?
I'm celebrating. My daughter's looking forward to going to college tonight
Amazing.
for an open evening, ready for her next steps, going to college. So
So exciting. That's so exciting, Karen. Love that. Alex or Will, anything from you?
Gosh, does getting a new car count? I don't know if that's really a
yes,
celebration thing,
definitely,
but
yeah.
yes, there we go. Getting a new secondhand car for the record. I have in my life never owned a new car, but this is a new secondhand car, so that's quite fun.
Does it have good cup holders, Alex? Because that was my main criteria when we bought our last car.
Me too. Bit of a sucker on the last car we bought. Very fuel efficient, but no cup holders, and it's been the bane of my life ever since. Whereas the new car, I sat in and I looked around and I was like, I can see four cup holders. This is good.
All's a minimum.
I
Alex, I
know.
love that we have just bonded on that comment now. Every time I get in the car, I think of you. But you've got to have your cup holders at big and small as well. Will
Exactly.
or Rich, anything to chuck in? Larissa, anything from you?
I'm actually heading away on holiday to Aussie next week.
So
Amazing.
for a few weeks. So yeah, that's exciting.
Lucky you. That sounds incredible. Really exciting. Right, Larissa, Rich, and Carl, hold your celebration thoughts and share them with us shortly. We're going to jump into the content because I like to start punctually at 35 past. So, loads of buzz about various cool things, but I'm going to start off with a mindset here that you may or may not have experienced. And I hope you haven't, but I'm sure you have. You might have experienced this mindset a few months ago, a few weeks ago, or even earlier today. Sometimes we can feel like this at some point throughout each day. So I want you to have a look at this mindset and to consider extra points if you know where this quote is from. It's a little bit of a random one, but I like it. Do you ever feel like a plastic bag? I'm not going to sing it, I'm just going to say it. Drifting through the wind. Oh, Sarah knows, wanting to start again. Go on, Sarah, where's this from? And the anticipation. Take yourself off mute.
Sorry, is it Jessie J? Is it
Great
Jessie J,
guess.
Katy Perry or something? One of those, isn't
Which
it?
one? What was the last one you said?
Katy Perry?
Katy Perry. Sarah,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
As soon
so
as the first
impressed.
line come up, I knew. That's
So
so
impressed.
sad, isn't it?
Love it. Let's keep going. Now, if this isn't you, this might be someone else you know. So just try to be that empath and just lean in to this concept. Do you ever feel paper thin, like a house of cards, one blow from caving in? We're discussing overwhelm here, or we're discussing when you feel like you're just imbalanced. You feel like you actually can't carry on. You feel unstable on yourself. And it is from Katy Perry and that brilliant song, Firework. So she's describing what lots of people feel. I think that's one of the reasons why this song is so popular. It's also because it comes around every year on November the 5th. But it's that sense of feeling wobbly. And the tool today that we're kicking off with is actually how can we strengthen ourselves so that we don't feel like we're flapping around in the breeze and feeling paper thin? How can we actually strengthen ourselves? So the contrast to feeling like the paper bag is the core tool, is us thinking about strengthening ourselves at the very core of our being. And Isaiah 35, verse 3 says this: strengthen the feeble hands, steady the knees that give way. In other words, this is my paraphrase. Take a little recce of yourself, do a 360, and ask yourself, where are the places where I can be taken out, where I can feel quite weak or I can feel overwhelmed? What can I do to change those things? And it might just be something small. Okay, some of you who've already done some strengthening work in yourselves, you might just have some small micro adjustments to make. Others of you who are just beginning on that journey of actually bringing yourself some support and some challenge through this course, you might have some slightly bigger work to do. But when we look at the weight trainer and the weightlifter, what we remember is that the place of strength is the middle. So quite often a weightlifter, when they get to a certain level, they'll wear a belt. And that belt will bring everything in and keep them very strong. If you're weightlifting, if you've ever done any weightlifting, big or small weights, you'll know balance is key. You really need to be able to be careful about how you plant your feet, where you put your hands, and your technique in terms of lifting. And if you have your technique right, and if you build it up gradually and carefully with a good trainer, you can lift far more heavy weights than you ever thought you could. So if the pressure on you has gone up, but your capacity to lift hasn't expanded, then you're going to be feeling like that plastic bag, a bit overwhelmed or feeling like you're going to cave in a bit. So that's what we're looking at today. And that's what the core tool is encouraging us to do, is it's saying, how can we strengthen ourselves at the very core of our being? And so the core tool that you will have reviewed beforehand, because you're all good and you've done your prep, suggests that that strong place, that belt for the weightlifter, is in the middle space where these three circles intersect. And the three circles are IQ, or skills intelligence, being task aware, being competent in the job, and having your courses up to date, having relevant training, investing in all of the skills you need to be able to deliver a good and competent job at work usually, but also at home as well. It involves tasks like DIY at home and getting things done, meals, all sorts of different things might be under that IQ banner. And then we have the EQ, or emotional intelligence, the others awareness. To what extent can we feel and sense how someone else might feel? Have we sought to grow that sensitivity to what others are experiencing on the other side of us? What's it like to be them? Do we feel as though we have empathy? That might be natural. Or do we feel as though we've done anything to try to grow that empathy? And that might involve us spending time thinking about how others are wired, listening to people, building our active listening skills. It might involve us doing research if we have someone neurodiverse at home, for example. What's it like for them? What does it feel like for them? How can I make sure that I am bringing my best so that I can empower and liberate them as well? So there's an emotional intelligence quotient that we can also value, weigh, and increase if we want to. So you were asked to give a number for each of these. So just have a look at those numbers. Which one of those is stronger so far? And then the third type, which obviously we often sort of really try to emphasize, is also personality quotient or intelligence, being self-aware. Do I know how I am wired? Do I know what my tendencies are? And do I therefore know how I can lead myself best in order to make sure I bring the best out of others and I am bringing the best out of myself as well? So you'd have given yourself a score on that. Now, those of you who've been journeying for some time with the five voices and with insights as well, and maybe other different frameworks, you may have quite a high PQ, but it still might have some room for improvement there, some tweaks. There's always something. I've been doing this for years. There's always something fresh that I need to be reminded of to walk in with intentionality in each season. So maybe that's for you, or maybe you're at the very beginning of your personality journey. And if so, you might just need to go with the basics and keep reviewing those five voices insights and video series that we looked at over the last few sessions. So that's the core process. Sorry, not the core process, that's the core tool. Now, the other tool is about to link with us, or the other tool we're introducing today. We're not going to go into depth on the 5 gears, but we are going to ask a particular question that links with these areas. Now, what we're thinking here are about 2 different tendencies, and everybody on this call will have one priority of these 2. They might be very close together, or you might be double parked. So pioneers tend to be more head-led, as our guardians and creative pioneers, and nurturers, connectors, and creative connectors tend to be more heart-led, and that lends itself to the prioritization of IQ for pioneers, guardians, and creative pioneers, and EQ for nurturers, connectors, and creative connectors. Now, this is a generalization, so you might buck this trend, but it might be that if you are one of those 3 groups on the right there, you might have given yourself a higher EQ score because you can just sense either the room or the individual, and you know what people, and relational harmony is a very high driver for you. On the other hand, you might be the IQ type. You might really value competence. You might really value task drivenness, and you might therefore have given that a very high score. Now, both are equally important for us to show up and to build influence for ourselves and for the kingdom of God, if that's a driver for you. So it's thinking about which of those are the strongest one for you. And if you have a double portion of a head-led voice, so if you're a guardian creative or a guardian pioneer or a pioneer, then that just might be harder for you. That might be a massive strength for you, the IQ, and dialing up the EQ might be harder. And it's the same if you're a nurturer connector or a connector creative nurturer. If you have very strong relational voices, then you may need to be more intentional in the IQ space, because too often people's relational needs will be the priority over your work, and you might find yourself working late or struggling to meet deadlines because you are spending so much time with people. So it's just thinking, which area do I need to bring some intentionality to? Now, that also tallies and builds on with this question that we were asked to consider as we build into the next big power tool, the 5 gears. And it's this question, and it goes with what we've said so far. Are you a more present person, or are you a more productive person? So if you're more present, you really love to be with people, and actually you don't mind being distracted by people. In fact, you might go out of your way to try to find a distraction. So I used to work in a boarding house for 8 years. And when I was there, I used to supervise their prep time and their homework in the evenings. And some of them, you'd see those productive people beavering away at their desks. They'd be there working really hard. But there'd also be the more present types, and they would be wafting around the boarding house, the kind of corridors, looking, and there'd always be an excuse. Oh, I was called Miss B back there. Miss B, I'm looking for the French vocab because I haven't got it, or I just need to sharpen my pencil. But actually, what they were really doing was looking for company. And then the productive types. What can happen with the productive types would be they would struggle to stop work. So 9 o'clock would come. The present people would be like, "Yay, let's go get a hot chocolate, let's have some fun." And the productive types would be, "I'll be right down in a minute. I'm just going to finish this first. I'm going to finish this first." We had someone on the other call who said that they would always get their work done first thing in the morning, and then they'd wonder why no one else, when the deadline was 4 p.m., no one else was available at 3 o'clock for a cup of coffee because everyone else was working towards the deadline. So both have their pros and cons, and it's just helpful just to have a movement around and ask yourself, am I a more present person? And therefore, do I need to be a bit more intentional in the productive space? Or am I a more productive person? And do I need to learn when it's time to down tools and be more present, even if the work isn't finished? So that was deliberately supposed to be a challenge and a share and an encouragement as well, and supportive, hopefully, on those two tools. So I'm really excited for you all to get into some discussions. We usually pair you so that you get more time to speak. So make sure that's equal, but we'll pair you with someone different, hopefully, to someone you had last time. Any questions on those tools? Claire, anything from you before we drop into the breakouts?
No, only to add, it was me wafting around the halls of the boarding house, avoiding doing their homework in the evenings. And
Not when I was on duty in a different school.
yeah, in
but
a different school, miles away. 10 years later, probably, but yeah.
Okay, any questions on the tools, or are they clear? So in this breakout, we're asking ourselves, are you more present or productive? And which of those core circles, what did you give them and why? So just getting into the data with each other now. Okay, anyone together in the same room? We've got Sarah and Karen together. Everyone else on their own. Yeah. Okay, breakouts. See you on the other side. Looking forward to hearing what you have to say. Great. Thanks. See you in a minute.